Welcome to the Hookup on Music with your host, Tony Bird.
It's me. It's Tony B. How's it going out there today? Episode 116. Bringing it to you on this Monday. We appreciate you joining us. Always appreciate you joining us. A lot to get to, a lot of different stuff. If you have not yet, please go back and check out the At the Show this past week. Some really good soundtracks for the Goonies talked about. Also talked about the Punisher soundtrack, which had some really awesome new metal on there. So if you're interested in listening to that, along with talking about the Goonies and other great hilarity, go back and check that out, please. Always appreciate it. But tonight, what do we got on the show? What do we got up the docket? What do we got for you? Got a whole lot of different stuff, which I'm excited to share. So you know what? Why wait? Let's just jump right in and start talking about some music. Let's start with some music news. Okay. I guess I was reading that Trivium blamed Bullet for My Valentine for ending the co-headlining tour early. Matt Tuck didn't want to do it. Very, very interesting to hear, considering we just had the videos on here recently and talked about the live show and how awesome it was. But they are ending their North American leg of their co-headlining tour, which was a celebration of 20th anniversaries of Bullet for My Valentine's debut, The Poison and Trivia's Ascendancy, which is very interesting and sad because you know what? Kind of crazy to think about. There's no South America tour, no Australia tour. Tuck no longer wanted to participate, which is interesting. But that being said, it was still a good time if you were able to check it out right around here. We are appreciative if you have let us know what you thought of that show, because honestly, it was happening. So it's sad when sometimes bands can't coexist and be able to finish a tour, which is just really crazy. Also really crazy is as far as actors who like music. Nicolas Cage, I know he likes music, but he also is mistaken a lot for Mr. Nick Cave, and vice versa. That's interesting. Nick Cave getting mistaken for the one Nicolas Cage, Mr. The Bad Seeds himself, doing that, which is really, really crazy to think about them two getting mixed up. I guess also it has to do with their names, Cave and Cage, not all looks. But very interesting, though, to think about that these two would be mistaken when they are out there on the streets and all of that, which honestly, have you ever been mistaken for somebody, a musical artist, a musical band, anybody? Would love to hear who you have been mistaken for, because that would be interesting if it was somebody that was very, very, very cool. But you're saying, like, what else do we got next up here? Got a movie coming out, okay? It's called Pavements, okay? And it is a biography on the amazing band Pavement, which is interesting. It is a biopic film. So if you are not familiar with Pavement at all, the musical band, what better way to start digging into them and knowing a little bit more than digging into this Alex Ross Perry documentary that he's put together. So interesting to dig into that when that is released. And you may be saying, if you missed when that release date was, the release date is June 6th. So right around the corner. That's very, very interesting to see. Mr. Stephen Malkmus, along with Bob Nesenovich, Scott Kenberg, Steve West, Mark Eibold, just a lot of people. Schwartzman's in it, Nat Wolff, Tim Heidecker. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, you can't deny the fact that Pavement is awesome. And if it's been a while since you've listened to Pavement, I definitely suggest that you get started right now before this documentary comes out. You may be saying, where should I start? Where should I start? why don't you start at Slanted and Enchanted, okay? The debut studio album by this band, by this just a really, really, really cool band, honestly. Using instruments as Fender Stratocasters, Fender Mustangs, Gibson SGs, Fender Silverface twin reverb amplifiers. The band always brings it. And if you have not sat down and took a listen to them, I think it's just about time that you went ahead and did that. Because honestly, it's another good rock band that should never, ever be denied in their amazingness, which, as you know, that's what we like here. We like sharing amazing stuff here on the Hookup on Music. But yeah, Pavement has got a little bit of a thing coming out called Pavements. So that's actually going to be very interesting to hear a little bit deeper. Also in the works, you a fan of the pop star Madonna? Putting together a biopic series with Sean Levy at Netflix. Very interesting. But it was originally worked at Universal for a biopic, but was put on hold ahead of her Celebration tour. Everybody's getting in the business of making themselves some biographies. You know, I would like to make some biographies. If they said, who would you like to make a biography on? Let's make a biography on G.G. Allen. I don't know. He's crazy. I'd like to know more about him. I don't know much besides the crazy stuff he did on stage, but the background story, I mean, if you remember Sid and Nancy, where Gary Oldman played Sid Vicious, very, very interesting stuff. And it's very, very always cool to dig into a good biopic that has some teeth, that lets you really think about what's what. And honestly, is it ever too late to make a good biopic? No. I mean, we've talked about a lot of biographies, musical biographies on the show. If you have not seen the Dylan biography yet, I feel like it's about time that you really should. You should take some time out and you should check that one out because that was a new good one. Bob Marley one, that might be okay to check out. It's not the best, but always game for many different musical biopics. So let me say, where are we heading now? Where are we heading? Well, it is our time for some new releases. New releases. We got a lot of new releases. Let's start off with Arcade Fire, new album. Just came out. You may say, what is the name of the new album? The name of the new album, I believe, is called Pink Elephant, which is really interesting album title. But let's dig a little bit deeper into this album entitled Pink Elephant, which you say to yourself, how does one come up with that album title? I don't know, but it was just released this past Friday, May 9th, okay? The album was announced back on April 7th, okay? Year of the Snake and Pink Elephant were the singles that have been released thus far. And if you have not, you can go back and check out the live performance of these on Saturday Night Live. Very good, very interesting stuff. I believe that they did a very, 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 very good job. But I also don't feel like this is some of their strongest material. Of course, when you've had other albums that, but then again, their last album, I didn't find to be very strong either. So I'm curious to what you think, if you're a huge Arcade Fire fan, what you think of this brand new album. Okay, it is 42 minutes and 16 seconds, 10 tracks, longest ranging at 7 minutes and 23 at Stuck in My Head, but at 6 minutes and 5 seconds is Circle of Trust. Always need a good circle of trust out there. And I'm sure a lot of this has to do with just some of the background is what's been going on with the band. You know, band members leaving, some band turmoil with some rumors of negativity. I share here tonight, but you go ahead and do some research. Beck dropped off of the last tour that they were doing. But you know what? That being said, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're just at a place where they're, I guess, just want to put out albums that they want to put out, which is fine. You know, that's why I love artists, is that you are always free to release what you want to release and what you feel is the best. But that being said, you know, I just so far not jumping all over this brand new album so far, but you just don't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know. Maybe I'll come around. Maybe I won't. Some albums take me a little while longer than some others. You just don't know when it comes to. You just don't know when it comes to different, different music. But if you are listening, Mclusky, okay, the British post-hardcore band formed in 1996. They got a new album out, and you're saying to yourself, a new album, 2025. The world is still here, and so are we. Their first one since 2004. You're adding up right now. That's 21 years ago, which you're saying, what are these guys up to? Interesting album, really good album, deep, a lot of good songs, a lot of introspection. Definitely suggest you check this one out for many different reasons. For number one, it was suggested to me, so I'm suggesting it to you, which is a great, really suggestion always. And if you like hardcore music or something a little heavier, you've never even heard of them, because this is only their fourth album, which is saying kind of cool. Fourth album, 20 years later. But they're putting it out, okay, which is cool. Very, very cool. And just hopefully maybe a live show could come around and you can catch them live, because bands like this you do not get to see very often. And honestly, who wouldn't want to see these guys if you have been waiting for them to have this kind of showing for a while? So that's awesome, Mclusky. We'll dig into that. We'll listen to you guys, see what you guys are up to. Always a good positivity to hear that. You may say, what else were you shared with? Someone else reached out to me, my good man Mike, who's going to be coming on the show soon. He reached out to me, and he shared Gollywog by Billy Woods, a 19-track album. Very awesome. Same with Planet Popstar by Wishy. Always sending the underground stuff, and we're going to dig a little bit more into those in the upcoming week when he is able to join in. And we're going to just have a good time with it, because that's why we get together. Let's talk some music. Let's have a good time. Let's have some fun. What else are we doing? But since you are there, we're glad you are listening. So thank you again so much. You may say, what are we spinning recently? What's on our turntable? What's on our list? What's on our whatever? We're listening to a whole bunch of different stuff, which is always really, really cool, because isn't that what it's all about? One thing that I like to dig back into, okay, like there's songs that never get old to me. Like, are there songs that never get old to you? Okay, like a song that I just love is Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult. Not just because I love Godzilla, that awesome green monster. No, because Godzilla is super, super cool. I like songs that you could go and it takes you on a journey. I mean, you've never seen the song, if you've never seen the song, if you've never sang the song, or if you've never heard the song, Killer Clowns by the Dickies. We've covered that song multiple times on here. You may say to yourself, what's that about? If you just saw the title, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you're looking down. I mean, a track that often gets played a lot. It's in a lot of different things. A lot of different Flagpole Sit-Up by Harvey Danger. Okay, this song, quite a bit. I'm not going to say it's, what's the word I'm going to say? It's a lot, but it's crazy that it only peaked at number 38 on the chart. Okay, Harvey Danger, only 38 on the chart. Really, really crazy. That's just, but how many times has this thing been played in other different history, popular culture? Taco Bell commercials. It's in Scooby-Doo 2. You know what I mean? Peep Show. I swear it's in I don't have the notes, but off the top of my head, I swear it's like an American Pie. If I'm right or wrong on that, you can let me know. But it's interesting just to overall see that being said and being played. I think it's being said. Well, they kind of sing it, so singing it is setting it. But just the way that these songs kind of pop up and pop through and pop around, you know what I mean? I mean, when you just this past Sunday, if you celebrate or didn't celebrate Mother's Day or just heard the holiday Mother's Day, you know, what are songs that come into your mind when you first hear that? You know what I mean? When you first hear it's Mother's Day, and I was like, what's a song about a mother? For me, the first one was My Mom Coming Home by Ozzy. But then after a couple minutes, I thought of Mother by Danzig. So, I mean, the levels of songs with mother in it, you know, are very, very interesting too. And very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting to really dig into. You know, what songs do you have for would you sing for that you would put, you know, In My Life? That could be a really good one, you know. Dear Mama by Tupac Shakur, of course, is always a classic. um you know, I like this one. I mean, when you really are digging into You Are the Sunshine of My Life by Stevie Wonder. Didn't know that was about his mother. Thought it was about maybe someone he was in love with, but that's what's so crazy is you just The Mother by Brandy Carlisle, Superwoman by Alicia Keys. Elvis does Mama Like the Roses. Interesting title. If you get an opportunity to look up that cover, really ridiculous in its own way. But again, lots of songs, lots of different songs. Ella Cool J, Mama Gonna Knock You Out. You know, I don't know. That has mom in it, just like Danzig or Stacy's mom. But that's I don't think they're honoring their mothers. But again, interesting. Julia by the Beatles. Very, 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 very interesting topic because like the songs that sing about moms, the songs that just say mom, mama. But which one is your favorite is the question. So if you are listening, please let us know. I would be curious to hear what that is. And you may say, where can I do that at? You could do that at the Hookup on Music on Twitter. You know, just reach out if you'd like to join the show. If you'd like to yell at me about some of my musical tastes, that's okay too. I do appreciate you just taking the time to speak and talk about music, even if it is negative. Because generally we're running out of people in this world who go as deep as, you know, I felt like we were going to be going at this point in society. I felt like I was going to be able to walk in anywhere, talk with people about music. But then I realized that maybe it's just me who likes music a lot. And music, if you are a huge fan, that's why it's always important to get together with other music people and chit chat. But that being said, you know, what else are we been spinning on our turntable? I always found it very interesting that the Kinks, okay, they have a pair of superhero songs. Wish I Could Fly Like Superman. And the song Catch Me Now I'm Falling screams for Captain America to save him, which is very, very, very interesting when you think about it. Because I don't know another band who's got multiple superhero songs in the regards like that, but the Kinks are always cool. Yesterday, my main man Brian, he reached out and was sharing the Juno soundtrack, which is loaded with lots of cool songs, which I'm sure I'll share at some point on at the show. But one of those that he shared with me was on there. I mean, not shared with me, but I know that it is on the album. It's by the Kinks. It's a well-respected man. If you've not listened to that one in a long time, that one is a really, 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 really good song. But you may say now, you know, you've given me some good stuff to listen to over 20 minutes in. You know, where shall we take this journey going forward? I mean, honestly, when you are rocking like we are. We're going to just keep it up and keep on rocking. But let us know some of the newer stuff you've been listening to, and we would love to share it too. Interesting. Longtime Alice Cooper guitarist, who on this show we've talked about Alice Cooper live. We've seen Alice Cooper live. Longtime guitarist Ryan Roxie has dropped a new single called Better Than You. That's very interesting. There's going to be a CBGB festival. Man, talk about being awesomely able to go to that. You're like, who's there? Iggy Pop, Jack White, The Damned. Okay. The Lindas, Melvins. Sign me up for that. Please sign me up for that. Henry Rollins is putting together something that I find to be very interesting, awesome, and definitely something that I would check out if I had the time and the effort and the ability. And that is the Punk Rock Museum. He states it's the biggest project that he's ever tried to pull off the hook. Well, we got HOOKUP in our title. If you need anyone help here, Henry, I am willing to throw my hand in the ring, which is very interesting. Sadly, though, Alice in Chains, there's some concert news there. Alice in Chains has sadly had to postpone some touring because Sean Kinney has come down with an illness, not shared, which is sad because anytime Alice in Chains has got any kind of touring up their sleeve, you say to yourself, can I be a part of seeing that live? I mean, definitely, who does not want to see Alice in Chains live in any incarnation? I mean, definitely something that is always special, but sadly they had to cancel that because Sean Kinney, but Jerry Cantrell, guitar player, he contributed to the movie soundtrack Sinners, a new soundtrack that if you haven't checked it out yet, I definitely suggest that you do that because that's just got a lot of good stuff on it. Tim Ripper Owens, you may be saying, who is Tim Ripper Owens? Tim Ripper Owens replaced Rob Halford and Judas Priest for a short amount of time. You know, that being said, short is multiple years in this case, but not as long as Rob. But he still is touring. He currently is in São Paulo, and he is playing still Judas Priest songs, Iron Maiden songs. Very, very interesting. Also interesting is just this band name. If you listen to these guys, let me know how they are because I never have. But Cattle Decapitation. That sounds like a band that if you saw them on the album Rack a long time ago, just that name, very, very, very interesting. I love when people share who their favorite drummers are because it's always like, well, that's not a surprise. Ex-Sepultura drummer Igor Cavalera has recently shared that his main drum hero has always been Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. Been one of my drum heroes too, and I don't even play the drums, which is kind of crazy. And it's interesting. I'm kind of shocked because I was looking through my notes of what I was going to cover, and I had forgot that I had written down that Creed has launched the Indianapolis 500 collaboration car. The Creed car, the Indy 500. Who would have thought? I went to the Indy 500 once. It was really, 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 really hot. It's just really kind of interesting. But also interesting is Chris Adler, drummer from Lamb of God. He states that it would not be a very good idea if he was to ever rejoin Lamb of God, which, you know, there must be some serious falling out if you're not willing to rejoin brothers that you've been with for a very, very, very long time. You know, but that being said, sometimes when there's a hard falling out, there's generally this awkward period where you're just pretty much like stuck in kind of like a limbo, which I believe that's kind of where he is with that band. You know, when you have falling outs with artists, you know, I wish we were there. Okay, I wish we got to fly, me and 3 of the coolest Hookup on Music podcast fans, after a great raffle, out to the English bird town that Motorhead was from for the unveiling of the statue. Can you imagine that? Boy, maybe one day we'll get to be somewhere cool like that and see some of that. But being at the unveiling of the Lemmy statue, just very, very, very would be cool and interesting in its own way, and really deliver some of great memories. This is the best right here. I love this. I love this quote. Slipknot isn't diligently working on new music right now. Jim Root, guitarist, states his inspiration is nearly zero. Wow, that's something you shared with your fans. Your inspiration is zero. Wow. That's a new one. But hey, everyone's free to feel however they want, which is interesting. It's just a lot going on. AC/DC is touring. If you happen to check out their show, or will be checking out their show, which will be coming out in Chicago here in about 2 weeks on the 23rd, I believe that is. But also, let us know. I mean, in touring news, Zach Weil also states that Black Label Society is going to go back on tour in 2026. He's currently still wrapped up with Pantera doing their thing, celebrating that band and what they're about. But again, the things are happening out there. Things are happening. Tours are happening. Once I saw this band, Ex Ambassadors. They were a really great show at the Vic. Now they're coming back on their 10-year anniversary of their debut album. Check that out if you have not. X was the name of that album. Good album on there. Renegade, some really good stuff. When we put the show together at the beginning of the week, it's always like, what are we going to present? Trying to come up with brand new stuff. Okay. Today was a very news heavy episode. So we're going to end the show in the last couple of minutes here with a little bit of rocking and a little bit of rolling. Let's see what we can pull up here in our amazingness. Just really, really, really glad you guys could join us tonight. You know what? When it rains outside, what comes after rain? You may say, I don't know what comes after rain. It's usually a rainbow. What a guitar riff that is. I mean, right now, that's what I would always, if you are a fan of baseball, if I was a closer, that is what I would come out of the bullpen with as I came out and shut down the opposing team. That's what you're supposed to be doing as a closer. But that track is sang by the amazing Rainbow. The amazing Dio really digs into this one. Man on the Silver Mountain. You can't tell me Dio doesn't have some of the greatest pipes that have ever been around in musical history. But I'm going to tell you that he's one of the greatest of all time. And Rainbow is before Dio, before he was in Sabbath and Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules. He was with Rainbow and Man on the Silver Mountain. Okay. Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, the album that it comes on, that album cover is pretty lit. I would have liked that poster on my wall. And honestly, I've listened to the Man on the Silver Mountain 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 times. I could be wrong. No, I'm kidding. That might be a lot, because that would mean I had to have listened to it every day. But maybe I did. But then again, that's Rainbow. Rainbow was awesome. Richie Blackmore. You're like, who's Richie Blackmore? Deep Purple. He left Deep Purple to start Rainbow, put it together, put it all together just to get that band out there rocking and rolling. And Richie had no problem getting everyone out there rocking and rolling. So we rock out to Richie. We rock out to Rainbow. we rocked out through a lot of cool stuff today. Please go back and check out the new albums that we've talked about. Let us know, in your opinion, what it is that you are all into and all jammed out. And we will keep it posted for you of what is coming up and what is coming out. We got a lot of stuff in the hatch, like I said, in the summer. You can never have too much music. Like, that's the thing, is I used to think you could. Like, I can't get all the music. Oh, stop saying that. And when I say I used to think of that, I'm talking about like a high school. I should have, back in high school, tried to listen to every single piece of music that I could listen to. And then guess what? If I did that, it might have made me a better musician instead of just trying to listen to something like Limp Bizkit or Creed. Yeah, Creed. We all got things that we say and we admit. I used to think that Creed was, I never forget, I told somebody this. I said, Creed is going to be the next Led Zeppelin. I know, please. I know that was silly. It's not like I said that last week. I said this when I wasn't even old enough to vote. So please hold the judgment. But that being said, it still was very silly that I said it. Maybe you've said silly things about an artist. These guys are going to be the next this. And then maybe they only had one hit wonder. Or maybe you disliked them and you thought they were still great when they still came out with albums. Who knows? But please, everybody, go back and check out everything that we've talked about tonight. I really, really appreciate you joining in and talking and listening and always just being there for us on the Hookup on Music. Check out what we got coming up on at the show. There's going to be more soundtracks, more great movie talk. Please check out the sadisticpenguinstudios.com. Got a lot of awesome articles dropping. My main man, Cotton, just dropped a great one. Check that out. We got some good ones dropping. I'm going to have a movie one coming out here really soon by my main man, Adam. It's going to be great. But it is sadly time for us to go. So my name is Tony B. We had a good time tonight. Let it be. Let us see. I can't wait to see you guys next week. All right, everyone out there, have a great rest of your Monday. And please be safe and take care.
Thank you for listening. Please look out for the audio version wherever you jam.